to Module 8. Let's go over to Alan now. Alan Arnold.
Good evening. Nope. Is it still afternoon out there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right. You got it.
So thank you guys. I'm going to do it slightly different because it's been a lot of things have been covered. I want to jump back to one of the things that the first person said. I can't remember his name right now, but he said be personable. So one of the things I like to throw in there, depending on who I'm talking to, I was in Super Bowl 40 in the halftime show, like one of those screaming fans. So it was like awesome. And then also, so if you can see this book, I'll turn off. This book that I have, it's Never Eat Alone. And so that's essentially what he was saying, right? And and so you want to, the secret's to one relationship at a time. And so just on this call, I think that you guys, there's 50 something people on here. So these folks who are here, plus the speakers, these are people that you can leverage the relationships to go into things further. Like I just took notes. I had to send something to Stephanie about our collaboration with the SBA and SBIR. So just things like that. So in terms of policy, yeah, Stephanie, there's something else I can email you.
So Alan, we want to hear a little bit more about like what you do right now. I think it's really tying in very well. It's like, I'm really excited.
Yeah. So what I guess what I want to do a little segue, because everyone seems like they had some kind of policy. I did not have any idea about the Science Technology Policy Fellowship. I was actually in China at the time, and there was this, Cecil the lion got killed, and everybody was on Facebook was like, "What is going on?" And I said, "Hey, nothing's going to change unless you change policy." And so they're like, "You should apply for this fellowship." So one of the things about policy and about what Chelsea said with influencing is understanding what's going on in policy as well as politics. The current election is directly involved with what I do on both sides. Just like I said earlier, no one knows my political views, and they tell us that when we go to get into the fellowship, you cannot talk about your political views. You're neutral. And so, for example, what I do now is, I'll give you a perfect example. I can talk to Stephanie Davis and Justin about getting research funds from the government for minority service institutions to collaborate with any federal government to get research funded. And we also can partner, the universities can partner with businesses like Chelsea. So I'm going to call you later, Chelsea. So basically, we have a $86 million funding vehicle that allows for that fast transaction. Like he was saying, the contract, at the last minute. Yeah, so my last month was insane. But it's all about relationships. You can't, if you don't have any relationships, it's very hard for you to just email somebody up and say, "Hey, here, let me tell you about this great program, and here's this company, Medtronic, that you can work with to get these things done." So that's essentially what I do. But here's the neat thing: how I got this job. When I first heard about people getting jobs without applying for them and jobs being created for them, I was like, "What? I've never heard of that. I want to do that." So, not that I didn't apply. I applied to about 230 jobs on an Excel sheet. And the way that I got the position I have now is that I talked to somebody a year. Oh, I'm sorry. My title is the Director of Research Development at MSRDC. MSRDC stands for Minority Service MSI Research and Development Consortium. So with that long name, I met somebody at the academies, and it was the chairman of the board of the company. And we just got to talk, and I was like, "Man, this makes, you guys are trying to get funding. This just makes sense." And I was at the National Science Foundation at the time. And at the National Science Foundation, they said, "Well, we don't know where these talented people are. Where do we do outreach?" And Stephanie and Justin, you guys all know about this. Outreach to certain communities. Where do we find them? And I said, well, wait a minute. If you're trying to give out money and other people are looking for money, there should be a way to bring this together. And so me and the chairman of the board continued to talk, and he just happened to call me 3 weeks before the end of my fellowships. So I was very uncomfortable in my bowels, like, oh my God, I have a family and I don't have a job. So in 3 weeks. So I was able to talk to him, and I said, he just talked to me and said, what am I doing? So I was able to talk about what the current landscape was in terms of what policy changes or policy that's going forth at National Science Foundation, which is they put on a new program for Hispanic serving institutions. There's always, there's a White House HBC initiatives. There's all these initiatives that you need to know or that you are aware of. And those things, connecting that to what I could do. So the position that was actually open was a part-time position that was like 6 months. And I talked to the CEO and I said, here, this is the bigger picture. So what you want to get from me is the bigger picture and the connections, right? So I was like, okay, this is what you have and this is where you're trying to go. And this is how all these things fit together. And he was like, he came back the next day. He was like, well, this was a part-time position, but would you like a full-time position? I'm like, yeah, sure. I would like a full-time position if you want to give me one. And also, like I said, understanding how those things fit and also how to implement those, and having the confidence to do that, right? So understanding that, with even the current, what's going on right now with the president and the hospital with COVID, all these things play a role in what's going to happen, right? So how does these things affect? And again, not saying which side you're on because it doesn't matter. Again, I don't really, I don't really put that out. So, and the other thing is, you never know where you can meet people. I met Congressman Maxine Waters in the airport, and we were just talking, and I was like, "Oh, you want to reclaim your time?" I was like, "Yes." So somehow I'm from Flint, Michigan, and somehow we got on to Flint, and she said, and this is where policy comes in. She said, "Oh, I wrote the legislation that was to get the funds to fix the water." And she was like, "It should be good." And I was like, I was like, "I'm sorry, no." There's like, no, it's not fixed. That was 4 years ago. Still not fixed. So understanding that, even though you hear things on Capitol Hill and people do things on Capitol Hill, you have to see what happens down the line too. And then that can help you to like become very strong in policy and be able to stand on your own feet. And last thing I'll say is earlier said the where you meet people at the dinners. If you guys have kids, birthday parties, especially in DC before COVID, birthday parties, like for my kids, I mean, they were having like huge parties with like animals and karate and all kind of stuff. But the people there are very relaxed, so you can talk about how things, what's going on, what your initiatives are, and people will want to help you. At least the last thing I was gonna say is, you guys have coming up is informational interviews. That is, I think, earlier in career, is one of the most important things that you can gain from anywhere. Because one thing I'll tell you is, everyone at DC loves to talk about themselves. So they will give you an information interview all the time, and then you never know where that could actually lead into a position if you understand where you want to go. So I'll pause there.
That's really awesome. Nice to hear that, Alan. Everyone loves to talk about themselves. So that's what makes it your net worth is your network. So I see that theme emerging multiple times here.